So earlier today, CD Projekt Red held a fairly long live stream talking about the free next-gen Witcher 3 update. Within that 45-minute stream was a good amount of exciting information on what we can expect on release day, which is December 14th, about 3 weeks from now. There was also some gameplay shown in that stream, which I'll be using in the background, although forgive me if I'm talking about a feature they mentioned and not showing a clip of it, because there were certain things they announced but didn't have gameplay of. Just to clarify, the next-gen version of the update was the focus of today's stream, but there will also be a much more limited version of this patch coming at a later date for Switch and last-gen consoles. For next-gen though, we have new details on both the technical and quality of life improvements as well as the brand new content, which I am very much looking forward to. The technical details revealed today are, I think, about what most people expected. Ray tracing and 4K textures and models were pretty much a sure thing for an update like this, and for next-gen consoles you'll also have the option between two modes: performance mode for 60 FPS and ray tracing mode that prioritizes resolution and, you guessed it, ray tracing. On the quality of life side of things, they have made some interesting changes to the gameplay. For one, and you may have already noticed this in the background, they've added a new camera option for combat, riding, and just general exploration. I really like how it looks. I'm not sure how it will feel, but it's optional, so if it doesn't sit right with you, you can always turn it off. They've also implemented a new combat mode for signs. One of the devs on the live stream was saying that to use signs in the current version of The Witcher 3, you're forced to always use the on-screen wheel if playing with a controller, which can be a little awkward. How this new mode works is instead of pressing the right trigger to cast a sign, you instead hold it and your buttons become your signs. So Y is Earden, B is Quen, X is Axie, A is Ard. Again, it's hard to say how this will feel in gameplay, but the idea of it is a good one and you don't have to use it. Again, I think you can toggle this mode on and off. My only bit of confusion is that the devs said the reason they added this was because the game makes you use the sign wheel to switch on controller. I'm not sure if this is just a PC thing, but I know for a fact that in the current version of the game you can switch between signs by just pressing left or right on the D-pad while blocking. That's with a controller, but on PC. I've always thought that system worked well, but maybe the new one will be better. By the way, if you're a PS5 owner, haptic feedback and adaptive triggers are also going to be supported, which will be amazing during combat. It almost makes me want to buy The Witcher 3 again just for PlayStation. The final gameplay change I want to mention is just something I noticed over on Twitter. One of the devs did say that fall damage has indeed been tweaked, which is definitely a welcome change. This update also adds a built-in photo mode, which is huge for console players, and cloud saves are another new addition, so you can switch between certain platforms seamlessly. With this update, you'll also be able to pause during cutscenes, and they did confirm that many bug fixes were made. They said the entire game was looked over for bugs just to polish things up, which should be great. By the way, I have seen a lot of people wondering if old saves will still work after the update, and the answer seems to be yes, because when they were talking about bugs, they did say that those fixes would work retroactively, meaning if you go into an old save where a bug affected you, it should now be gone. That's it for major technical/quality of life upgrades that they covered in this stream, although I want to point out that they made a big deal of saying that what they're showing off today is not everything, and that they're saving some surprises for closer to release. Anyway, that brings us to the new content that was revealed. I'll start with the most important part, that being that this update will bring a new quest to The Witcher 3. They only showed the very beginning when you speak to a priest of the Eternal Fire, but the exciting thing is that this quest will take place at Devil's Pit. This location has always been sort of legendary because for such an elaborate place, there's nothing there in the base game other than some bandits. It feels like there should be more because there was supposed to be. Underneath, there are massive caverns you can't get into without mods, and this location was originally a centerpiece to the mostly cut out Catriona Plague storyline, which involved Yorveth, Kira Metz, and others. This new quest most likely is something entirely new that has nothing in common with what would have originally been there, but you never know. It was confirmed that CDPR brought back all of the Geralt voice actors to record new lines, and also that sometime during the progression of this quest you'll pick up the schematics for the new Netflix cosmetics. The Season 1 armor was shown several different times, but it also looks like they're adding the Season 2 version, as there's a very brief moment where you can spot it. He's also getting the Netflix swords, although there's no details on stats or abilities. While I think the Netflix stuff for Geralt looks solid, what looks even better, in my opinion, are the two other new armor sets that could be spotted in the background gameplay during the stream. The first, which I've probably already shown, looks sort of like mid-game Griffin armor. I really like it, it's just the sort of thing I would use, and the other set that very briefly appeared is this absolutely wild dragon-inspired set. It looks amazing, not subtle at all, but who cares? There were no details revealed about these other armor sets like a name or how you get them. Like I said, they weren't even acknowledged, they were just briefly shown while showing off the update. I think it's likely there are more that will be revealed later just because of how casually these two sets were in the background. Because they weren't even mentioned, I almost started gaslighting myself into wondering if they weren't actually new, but no, they definitely are. To get back to the Netflix stuff though, it was confirmed today that Triss, Dandelion, and Yennefer are all getting new looks inspired by the show. Interestingly, there was no mention of Ciri, although I don't think that rules her out because Triss and Yennefer's new outfits were only briefly mentioned in passing. On the other hand, Dandelion's new look was shown off and made an appearance late in the stream. I'm gonna stall here for a moment so you can take a look and form an opinion for yourself. Now that you've had the chance, I just need to say, I think this looks absolutely terrible. I can't imagine ever using it, maybe for getting gameplay on release day, but other than that, I think I'll stick with the classic option. This new one is not for me, and that haircut, woof. It doesn't stop there though, because this update also adds, and I'm not kidding, the Netflix Season 1 Nilfgaard armor. If you don't remember, this set was made fun of so ruthlessly when the show first came out that they totally scrapped the armor for Season 2. If I remember right, it was dubbed the Ballsack armor, which I imagine is not the name they'll be using in the next-gen update. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter, these are all optional, and I was never going to use the Netflix appearances anyway, but I just can't believe they willingly added that armor to the game. Well everyone, that is everything for today. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like as it helps to get these videos out there, and if you like Witcher content, feel free to subscribe. Also, after YouTube took it down a couple of months ago, I was finally able to get my big What Would Geralt Do Witcher 2 video re-uploaded and back on the platform. If you missed it the first time, it's returned after YouTube finally got back to me. The reason for its removal was even dumber than I imagined. I think it's my best video, so feel free to check it out. I go through every major decision and try to get to the bottom of what would Geralt do. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.